Hello, everyone. My name's Andy. I'm a commercial manager here at FreeAgent. My role is to work with some of our partners to help bring their functionality to our customers through FreeAgent to help you with how you work with customers and speed up some of the admin that you'll be doing in FreeAgent as well. Ros, shall I pass to you to intro yourself?
Yep. Hi, everyone. I'm Ros. I'm one of the product managers here at FreeAgent. I look after a lot of the daily admin tasks, trying to make those as efficient and easy to use as possible. I'm working closely with Andy to make sure we've also got the right partnerships in place so that we make everything slick and easy for you, which is a lot of what we're going to be chatting about today.
Brilliant. Thanks, Ros. Right, so we're actually going to start off this morning's webinar with a quick poll, just to get a feel for how you use FreeAgent, how you use payment providers, how you may use them in conjunction with FreeAgent. So we'll give you another 30 seconds or so just to answer the question. And then again, that will give us a bit of understanding, and we can make sure that we're covering hopefully the right points of what you might be interested in whilst we go through the demonstration and talk about what we're going to be discussing this morning. Cool, so we're still getting a few people logging in. We're starting with a quick poll, which I will close in a moment. Brilliant, right, let's go. In fact, I'll give another 5 seconds just to get the last few coming through. Right, there we go. Brilliant. Are you using payment solutions? So we're seeing quite a few using the FreeAgent partners, Stripe, GoCardless, PayPal, and Till. A small number who do but don't use the above. So that's always good coming from a FreeAgent point of view, that most people do tend to use the payment providers that we work with if you are using them. And then we can see a lot of customers or FreeAgent or people on the webinar today are using the Pay by Bank transfer. So brilliant, that was really useful. And we'll try and just relate that to what we're talking through in the content today as well. We have had one question that's just come through. Will this webinar be recorded? Yes, it will be, and we'll send it through to you tomorrow. So please do ask questions as we're going through. We'll try to answer them if we can. If not, there'll be a Q&A at the end that we can talk through as well. Right, so in terms of the agenda for today, I'm going to share some quick FreeAgent stats with you. Relating to FreeAgent as a company, but also to how our customers use payment providers. I'll look at why perhaps it's a good idea to be using FreeAgent to be invoicing customers and to be collecting payments. Then I'll jump into a live demo, bring it to life for you a bit, hopefully give you some tips and tricks, which if you're already using it, then you can hopefully get some tips. And if you're not, you can understand how it works. Then I'll pass over to Ros, who will talk through all the new and exciting things we've been doing with a bunch of our payment providers over the last 12 months. We'll round it off with how this helps out with saving you time and getting paid quicker, and then we'll move back to a Q&A to answer any questions that we've not been able to ask as we have gone through the webinar. So the whole thing will last until about 11:30, at which point you can drop off, and we'll continue with the Q&A after that point there. Right, so in terms of some key stats, so FreeAgent's been growing really quickly over the last couple of years. We're now at over 200,000 businesses that use FreeAgent. We're almost wholly focused on the UK, so the vast overwhelming majority of our customers are businesses based in the UK. And in terms of the employees, directors, and people who have access to those business accounts, there's almost there's almost 500,000 people who use FreeAgent at the moment. So that's a really healthy stat there. If we look specifically at payments, so for 2024, there were 9 million invoices sent in FreeAgent, and that was for a value of paid invoices in 2024 of £21 billion. So again, across those 200,000 accounts, there's really some large numbers of invoices that are getting sent and getting paid in conjunction with FreeAgent. And then the team here at FreeAgent is now 280 people, and we're almost all based up here in Edinburgh, which is where myself and Ros are today. So to quickly have a look at why it's a good idea to be invoicing and collecting payments through FreeAgent, we're accounting software, so it's not a surprise. It's because we help to automate some of your tax obligations when you're doing that daily admin through FreeAgent. So as you're sending invoices in FreeAgent, we'll be updating your VAT return automatically, and we'll help with your self-assessment and might final accounts and so forth. So the benefit there is just saving some time and hassle in those processes, which is very useful. The benefit of this is that we speed up that process to having accurate, up-to-date information on your business. So you can look at the useful reports in FreeAgent, like the benchmarking report. How does your income and costs compare to other businesses like yours that use FreeAgent in a similar geographical area? How's your cash flow looking? We'll look at things like, does a customer pay you early or late typically? What are the payment terms on your invoice that you've set? You can go and have a look at that and think, well, actually, if they pay me late, do I need to shorten the payment terms for that customer or not? But all of that will feed through into the cash flow. So you understand, again, what's your 3-month horizon in terms of what your cash flow position is expected to be. You can see how your spending changes, what cost categories are going up and down. And then again, you've got your aged debtors to give you that snapshot of who's paid you, who hasn't, and how overdue are the different customers. So there's a lot that you can do in FreeAgent today. You can helps you with winning the work, doing the work, tracking expenses, tracking time, reconciling the bank statements, bringing those insights I've been talking about, and then ultimately those tax and submissions to HMRC. Today, we're focused on the getting paid area, so sending invoices and so forth, which I'm now going to have a look with you. So one quick poll before we move on to the demo. So how do you request payments from your customers? So we'll give you, again, 30 seconds or so just to answer this poll here. Then we'll dive into a live demo, bring some of it to life for you, and then Roz will start talking through some of the new functionality that we've released in the last 12 months. So I'll just give you another 10 seconds or so, I think, and then we'll jump into the demo and run through that with you. Brilliant, right. Thank you for answering that. I will share my screen now. Brilliant. So you should be able to see my screen. If not, one of my colleagues will let me know shortly. So what I'm going to do with you now is I'm going to run through some of the functionality that exists today, give you some tips on how some customers use it that you might find useful, and then we'll move over to Roz, who will talk through the new releases. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go in and I'm going to create a recurring invoice. So we'll go in, add recurring invoice profile. I'm going to choose contact aims. I'm going to say that this particular invoice is going to run for a year from this point forward. You've got all the foreign currencies that you might need to use in conjunction with FreeAgent. And then I'm going to use an example of GoCardless today for this recurring invoice, because we're going to collect this fee via direct debit and show you how that works. So we've got the option of having the customer direct debit collected on the date the invoice is sent, or on when the payment is due date, which is taking into account the payment terms that we've set earlier. Now, there's other functionality within FreeAgent, which gives you the ability to save a bunch of time. That is, if we select this button here to email the invoice automatically, that means we'll email it automatically and then collect the payment automatically. If you don't select that, then it creates the invoice in the account for you, and you go in and you select send manually in case you want to review it or check it or anything like that. So you've got a few options there. So I'll tick the option here. We'll use my default template. Then we've got email payment reminders. So this is if the payment goes uncollected. So with a direct debit in this example, if there's not enough money in the bank account, then it won't get collected, and then that will trigger a payment reminder email off the back of this. And then also, it's not just about collecting the fees, it's also about saying thank you. So once the invoice is paid and reconciled back to the bank account, we'll trigger a thank you email through this process as well. Right, so this creates the initial invoice for me. I'm going to go in, we're going to add in 1 month's, let's call it gym membership. There we go. And I'll put it in for the very reasonable price of £15, and then create and finish the item here. So you've got a whole bunch of themes available as standards. You've got custom themes. You can go in and really get it to match your branding. You can pick any of the ones that you want. I'm going to choose the red one here because it matches my logo nicely. And then I can just go in and select Activate. Right. So what that does for us there is it sends the invoice to the customer. It automatically schedules the payment to get collected via direct debit. And then it will also schedule the payment chasing emails if required and the thank you emails on that basis there as well. So if you collect recurring payments from customers, that's a really easy way to get that set up, get FreeAgent to do a bunch of the heavy lifting for you, and triggering the invoices to be sent and the fees to be collected by direct debit as well. Okay, so if you want to get that direct debit mandate set up initially, then if you go into contacts, we'll select this particular contact here, and you just go into the add new button in the top right, direct debit mandate, put in their customer email. This will send through the request to the customer, and then it will collect the fees on that basis through there. If we go and have a look into the contact section again, so we'll pick Ames, the one I chose earlier. So here you've got a whole bunch of options available to you. We're seeing that notice, does this customer pay early or late? So here we can see that they're a good payer based on the last 12 months. You can also create statements of accounts, send to customers estimates and see account histories all through this process as well. Right, so hopefully that's bringing to life some of the time savings that you can make, particularly in relation to the recurring payment side of things. If I go into settings and have a look at email templates, so this allows you to customize all the language in the way that you want it to. So you've got your new invoice options, all your email tags on the right-hand side here, and then you can also see an example of what the invoice will look like when your customer will see it with the handy view and pay icon there. One of the things that some of our customers tell us is that they will create a new user on their FreeAgent account sometimes, call it finance@theirbusiness.com, and then they'll choose for the kind of new invoices or the payment chasing invoices to get sent from that finance email address, just so that if it comes to the point where you are having to chase up late payers, then it just creates that kind of place where it's easy to have the conversation. You've received a bunch of emails already. You're a month overdue. We're a small business potentially, and cash flow is really important. So it is time that you pay, and please can you do so as soon as possible. I have just had one question come through on the chat saying I can't see the demo. If Roz, let me know if there's an issue there, and we'll do what we can to resolve that.
I think it should pop up in a media player, so it kind of comes above the slide. So I'm not sure. Maybe it's been minimized within the, because I can see it on my screen. Okay, so hopefully. Louis, we'll get back to you on chat as well to help you find that demo.
Right. Okay. Brilliant. Well, I'll leave that to my colleague Louis to get back to you. If you're having any issues, please put it in the chat, and my colleague will come back and let you know what you can do there. Brilliant. So that's the new invoice templates. You've got your invoice reminders. So this allows you to check when an invoice goes overdue, you can have an invoice reminder, and this will be written again in your language. You can choose to have it sent from the user address that you want to, and you can choose when it gets sent to customers and on what frequency as well. So you can get one email sent, let's say 3 days after overdue or on the overdue date, and then other emails sent subsequently at different times. And then you've got the thank you templates and the new estimates as well. So this just enables you to speed up those processes and admin on that basis. So just two other things I will run through quickly with you. So again, one of the benefits of all this is in terms of cash flow. So because we know what your purchase invoice and bills are in FreeAgent, because we've got your bank transactions coming through, because we know what your overdue and outstanding invoices are, we can bring all of that through into the cash flow forecast in FreeAgent to give you an indication of the next 3 months and what your cash flow position is going to be. And then finally, the last thing I'll show quickly is just, again, in the report section. The other area just to keep on top of is that aged debtors report. So this is going to show us which customers are overdue, how overdue they are. And again, you can dive into a particular invoice and you can resend them and so forth if you want to, all through here. Right, I will stop sharing my screen now and I will pass back to Roz to run through the rest of the slides.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm also going to demo a couple of things that have come up in the chat as well. So I'm going to just show you those first, and then I'll come back to the slides. It's worth mentioning, I'm going to do this on a test environment. So there are some things that are very subtly different to what you might see in your own FreeAgent account. Don't worry about that. It's just because I'm using a bit of a different environment so that I can show you some different statuses. So what I'm going to do is actually start with an estimate and convert that into an invoice. So for people that aren't necessarily taking recurring payments, this is kind of maybe more of a journey that you might go through if you're doing things a little bit more on an ad hoc basis. So I've got an estimate here. Let's say my customer has just approved this. What I can now do is convert this over into an invoice. What that does is pull through the line items that were added to the estimate. If there's anything that's changed, you can edit these or you can remove line items as needed. And let's say for this particular project, I've also got some expenses that I want to charge back as well. What I can do there is come into this edit view. And you can see there's a few options here of different things that you can include on the invoice if you choose to. So you can include tracked time that you have in FreeAgent. You can include expenses, which I'm going to do for this one. You can either have those as a single total, so on a single line, or show them on each expense on a separate line. So I'm going to do that for this invoice. And then if I come down to the payment section, I've got all of our different payment options enabled here, so you can see the full range of things. So at the moment, in your accounts, you would have access to PayPal, Stripe, and Till. Go Cardless Instant Bank Pay isn't available yet, but is coming in the next few weeks. And I'm going to come back to that once we go over to the slides. It's also worth mentioning you can set default payment options. So rather than having to tick these boxes every time, you can choose which ones you want to enable by default. And there's also the direct debit option there that Andy was showing over in recurring invoices. And in a similar way, there are options around automated chases and thank yous, and also being able to email the invoice on the invoice date as well automatically. So we're going to save those. And then you can see those expenses have now been added to my invoice. So Andy showed you sending by email. There was a question about how to include kind of the payment link. So you can either use this online payment link tag from the right-hand side, or you can use this checkbox, which includes a button within your email. So a couple of options via email for how to include that payment link. What I'm going to show you, though, is if you are wanting to send your payment link outside of FreeAgent emails, you can use this option here. So that marks the invoice as sent. You can then copy this URL, and I'll just show you what your customers will see. So when they come through, they'll see an online version of the invoice. It's got all of the information. It still does have the bank details. In case if they want to still do a bank transfer, they are still able to do that. But what they have within this pay invoice is all of the options that I enabled on that first screen, so they can kind of choose how they want to pay this invoice. I'm just going to pop back over to my FreeAgent account and show you what happens when I have had a payment made. So on, let's say I have sent invoice 001 to Bob Smith. He has decided to pay that via Go Cardless. What will happen is in my Go Cardless account in the banking section, I'll see that come through as a payment. And what FreeAgent has done is automatically match that to the invoice that was paid. If I go through to the invoice, you can see that that's marked as paid. If I had any thank you emails set up, those would have been sent out once that payment was matched. And you can see just a little bit more information about the payment and when that was received. Okay, I'm going to pop back over to the slides and tell you a little bit about some of the new features that we've been working on as well. So we've had quite a focus on our payment integrations at the start of this year, trying to make them work as well as possible for you guys and give you extra features. So first one to cover off is Stripe. So what we have done here is set up a dedicated import feed. So similar to that Go Cardless account I just went into on my demo account there, you'd now have a Stripe bank account within FreeAgent. So once your payments come into your Stripe account, they then get reflected into your FreeAgent Stripe account. You might notice that these are in orange. So what we will do is match the invoice payment against the invoice itself. And we'll also explain the bank fees, the transaction fees as finance charges. Those are in a for approval state. So what you do is have a check that you're happy with those. If you are and you don't want to make any changes, you can just use the checkboxes down the left-hand side and then bulk approve all of those. So hopefully saving you plenty of time and effort getting that admin and reconciliation done. Our next update was around PayPal. So we've made some changes so that this is much quicker and easier to connect or update your PayPal account if you've already got a PayPal connection in place. The advantage of updating is that you get access to some more functionality. So the first thing is that for quite some time in FreeAgent, you've been able to create invoices in different currencies, but now you also have the option to allow PayPal as a payment option on those kind of foreign currency invoices. As you'll see on the right-hand screen here as well, this is what you will see when you set up or you update your PayPal feed. So I've got 2 different currencies that I'm using on that account. What we'll do is set up a dedicated import feed for each of those currencies. So as you get paid in those different currencies, the transactions will be reflected in those accounts within your FreeAgent banking area, and then they will be automatically reconciled against your invoices again. The other update that is available as part of the latest integration is the Pay in 3 option. So this gives your customers the flexibility to pay in 3 interest-free installments over time. The nice thing about it, though, is that you still get all of the money straight away, and there's no extra fees involved. It just gives your customers some extra flexibility on how they choose to pay. Sorry, I'm going to get a little bit of water. Perfect. Okay. And then a little teaser of a couple of things that are coming up. You'll have seen this in my demo account there, but one of the bigger changes that we're doing is around our Go Cardless integration. So at the moment, that is the payment provider that we use to take direct debits. We're introducing an instant bank pay option. So this allows you to take payments without needing a mandate set up with your customers. The interesting thing about this one that's a little bit different to our other payment providers is that we don't take it via a card payment. We take it via the payment being approved from the customer's banking app. So all that would happen for this one is that your customer would see the screen on the right-hand side. They would choose what bank account they want to pay from. We'd take them over there. They would log in, and then they would approve the payment and then come back and have confirmation that that payment has gone through. The nice thing from a FreeAgent customer perspective is that you don't then have to pay any kind of, there are fees involved, but there's not the kind of additional card transaction fees associated. And as with other Go cardless payments, these payments would be automatically reconciled with your bank transactions. And then another change that is coming a little bit later in the summer is an update to our Stripe integration. So this would be if you take any payments in person, you would be able to do this just using your phone. So you'd set up an invoice on the mobile app, and then you could use your phone to take contactless payments, either from your customer using their bank card or using their digital wallet to make that payment. So hopefully some updates that have been helpful that have already come live, and a couple of things to look forward to a little bit later in the year as well. I'll pass it back to Andy.
Brilliant. Thanks, Ros. Great. So I think just to round this all off for you, what does this mean for helping you save time and for getting paid quicker? So if we start with invoicing quickly, so obviously it's easy to say, but it is best practice. If you invoice the day that you've delivered the goods or services, you will get paid quicker. That's a fairly well-known industry standard. But also if you customize your templates, add in your brand logo, match that logo to your branding, it just again gives that more complete feeling. Choose to have the invoice sent from a finance at is one of the top tips from some of our customers. And then in terms of how we help automate a bunch of that process for you, so you don't have to spend all your time focusing on these things, it's the ability to do recurring invoice profiles if that's how you work with customers, or to create templates, use stock if you need to, save list items so that when you're creating one-off invoices, it's a nice quick process for you. You've got the automated payment chasing emails, automated thank you emails. We automatically reconcile those transactions and payments once if you're using our payment providers, and then again bring it all together in the aged debtors report for you. In terms of everything that Ros has talked through, so with Stripe, we've launched reconciliation recently. That was one of our most requested features. We've got tap to pay coming shortly, which is really exciting. We Go cardless. We've launched a bunch of new features recently. And we're shortly going to be launching instant bank pay. So when we look at something like that, that's our first open banking payment solution, and that makes it cheaper to use these payment providers, and so that can make it more worthwhile if you've got customers who pay larger transactions, and therefore you're sensibly more conscious about the fee that some of these solutions provide. In terms of PayPal, we've upgraded the checkout. So as you can see on the slides here, we've kind of brought in those Apple and Google Pay options when you're using FreeAgent invoicing, and PayPal also has pay in 3. So that's the option, as Ross was just saying, that customers can choose to split the cost of the invoice over 3 months if they wish to, at no cost to yourself. So if you have a look at adding in these pay now buttons where customers' transaction details are saved, it really does speed up the process in which customers are likely to pay you. I think one of the kind of key figures which is mentioned is perhaps 11 to 12 days earlier on average, if you're giving these customers the convenience of using these solutions. If using tap to pay, get the customers at the point of sale, so that's really going to speed up your processes there, depending on how you work with customers. And then again, there's always direct debits to speed up those processes as well. So hopefully that's brought to life for you a bunch of the functionality that's already existed in FreeAgent for a while to make it easier for you, how to streamline those processes, how to help use those tools to keep on top of your business finances, but also what we've launched in the last 12 months to really make it easier for you to build in that automatic reconciliation and to make it easier for your customers so that it's more convenient for them to pay, which ultimately should hopefully end up in yourselves getting paid quicker as well. So I hope you found that useful. One final slide is if you want to find out more, you can log into your FreeAgent account, go to your kind of settings area in the top right, go to connections and add-ons, and then you'll find the list of all the kind of payment providers that we've got who you can integrate with FreeAgent and what their kind of key stats are as well. So that's hopefully a useful next step. And I believe on the screen you're seeing there's our knowledge base as well, which will give you the ability to answer a bunch of questions too.